Omniverse.
The Call of Cthulhu Mystery Program contains content that may not be suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised. Visit CthulhuMystery.com and head to Patreon.com/OmniverseMedia to join our community of fans and unlock further secrets. Thanks for tuning in to WIS. Tonight, we're quaking in terror and ecstasy as we tremble on the precipice of an all-new adventure in horror with our RPG audio drama, The Call of Cthulhu Mystery Program. What you're about to hear is unlike anything we've broadcast before. And it's not the long-awaited third series. Let's call this a special presentation. Normally our show is an uncanny 50-50 blend of improvised tabletop role-playing and cinematic audio drama. But brace yourselves, because in this instance, we've cast all our post-production scripting and meticulous sound design to the wind. Presenting the Cracked and Crook'd Manse, a live charity spectacle like only Mystery Program can make. Everything you're about to hear, all the mayhem, music, sound effects, technical wrinkles, all of it is live to tape. This event was originally performed as a live video broadcast in November 2020, on Friday the 13th and Saturday the 14th. If you want something visual that's not the least bit abysmal, you can watch the entire broadcast in 2 parts on YouTube. But we are, after all, a podcast. So, for the next several weeks, we're releasing this live adventure in easy-to-digest audio installments. This is part 1. Now, the original broadcast was a charity event benefiting the Transgender Law Center. And folks, it still is. If you're able to give to this wonderful cause, head to CthulhuMystery.com/live and follow the links to our Tiltify campaign. Not to spoil the drama, but as of this episode's posting, we've raised $1,845. However, the ritual has yet to reach its zenith. Will you walk with us in the path of giving? Will you bring an offering to the summoning? Together, we can lift our arms, our spirits, and our wallets to the sky to bring upon us the time when the stars are right. Again, that's CthulhuMystery.com/live. Follow the links to donate to our campaign for the Transgender Law Center. On these weekly broadcasts, I'll be keeping you up to date on any new happenings in our drive and speaking the names and messages of new donors, such as these fine folks who gave even after the stream had ended. Marshall Morgan Simmons, Matt Spill, and Jamie Lalone, a saint, an angel, a haunter in the dark who forked over a hefty stack of Mazuma and said, well, since I missed the second night of shenanigans. Thank you, kind souls, and thank you, intrepid listener, for joining us on this actual play adventure. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Do you hear that? Oh, that's not my line. Sorry. Here we go.
Do you hear that? In the cruel blackness of night, an unknowable evil from beyond time cries out. What dark deeds unfold on the streets of Arkham, and which unwitting souls, innocent or impure, will succumb to the maddening call, the Call of Cthulhu.
Omniverse, Chaosium, and Agate brand Witch Hazel are proud to present The Call of Cthulhu Mystery Program Live. Tonight's strange story, The Cracked and Crook'd Manse.
After a hard day's work, it feels like I'm burning at the stake. Fortunately, there's a time-honored household remedy that puts a hex on inflammation. Agate brand Witch Hazel. Whether maiden, mother, or crone, women know the power of Connecticut's wonder shrub. This herbal miracle treats sprains, neuralgia, rheumatism, bruises, and piles. Any inflammation. And it's made from only the finest ingredients, triple distilled from selected young twigs, gathered in moonlight. Agate brand Witch Hazel eliminates any ache or pain like magic.
Chaosium Incorporated is the publisher of high-quality books and games, including the acclaimed Call of Cthulhu Tabletop RPG. Head to Chaosium.com to discover forbidden tomes of eldritch knowledge, so that you and your friends can succumb to the maddening call of investigative horror adventures just like this one. This live production is recorded and produced in Central Florida, Nashville, Tennessee, and Dinwiddie, Virginia, on lands ruthlessly taken from their indigenous people, the Timucua and Seminole, the Yuchi, Shawnee, and Cherokee, and the Chero and Hakka Nottoway, respectively. Acknowledgement of the first people of these lands and the lasting repercussions of colonization is the least we can do. Through awareness, we can prompt discussion, allyship, and ultimately decolonization. To learn more about the First Nations of the land where you live, visit native-land.ca. And now, let's meet the cast.
Hi, I'm Kat Blackard, showrunner of the Call of Cthulhu Mystery Program. We're an audio fiction podcast of horror, hilarity, and historical fiction, based on the stories of H.P. Lovecraft. Tonight, we are weaving an actual play story in the Mystery Program style, live, music, sound effects, all with an amazing cast of brave souls who would dare to cast a piece of themselves into the unknown. So, who are these daring souls? Well, first up, there's Caleb Del Rio.
Hello, my name is Caleb Del Rio. I will be playing Perseverando Gomez de Castellano. He is a wealthy architect with a stick up his ass.
Excellent. So, Caleb, have you played The Call of Cthulhu before?
No, never.
What about H.P. Lovecraft? You ever read any Lovecraft paperbacks or anything?
Yes, some Lovecraft and some inspired by Lovecraft.
Any particular, I don't know, were you into them? Like, what's your take on this experience? What are you bringing with you?
Well, I have a love of nautical horror. Love that. A lot of contentious opinions on the man himself.
Of course.
We all know he had some bad takes.
Oh, yeah.
The
worst.
Yeah, so if wherever I can find that similar kind of eldritch horror without the rough sort of connotations that conceived the original stories, I will take that and I will run with it because I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's the same ethos that we apply here on Mystery Program, tapping into that cosmic horror and kind of doing the opposite of what Lovecraft did, where his like cis white het Protestant capitalist patriarchy vibe and everyone else is the scary person. No. We like to flip the script here on Mystery Program with our brand of 1920s cosmic horror. Next up, we have Dottie Vox.
Yeah, I'm Dottie Vox. I will be playing Hazel Martin. Hazel Martin is a recent college graduate and historian. She is studious, she is sincere, and she is a scion of darkness.
Wow. Okay, that's heavy. I guess we're going to be learning more about that. Dottie, people may know you from, if people have followed our work with Omniverse and the Nerdy Show Network, they may know you as one of the characters from Dungeons and Doritos, our first tabletop audio drama that we did ages ago.
Ages and ages.
What are you up to these days?
These days, I am back to producing burlesque shows. I am bringing them to the streaming digital style and trying to combine those two in a way that is going to make everybody have a good time. I'm also doing a little bit of voice acting, doing a little bit of game writing, and diving in whole hog to nerddom in both directions.
Excellent. Let's meet Sawyer Greene and his character.
Hi, I'm Sawyer Greene, and I'll be playing Silas Merriweather, a sweet, charming vaudeville dancer with not too much going on upstairs.
Sawyer, what's your background with tabletop role-playing or horror?
I've listened to a lot of actual play podcasting, and I've been in a few campaigns of my own of D&D, but I've never actually played Call of Cthulhu before, so I'm excited to give it a try.
Excellent. Do you have any particular favorite subgenre of spooky media?
I'm actually not a super big fan of partaking of horror, but I like being in it. I don't like being scared.
Sure. Well, that'll maybe make your performance just a bit more visceral for Silas and his antics.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. And last but not least, a returning face from Mystery Program, Joshua LaForge.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh LaForge. I'm host of RPG from Scratch, a podcast where we create and play our own tabletop RPG, and then the sister podcast where I GM that RPG for our friends, I'm GMing currently a party of anthropomorphic ne'er-do-wells and a million years in Earth's future where everything has gone horribly wrong. But I am returning from having been on here before. I played in seasons 2 and season 6, upcoming Moses Rubin Cubbenfeld, a mountain man who's had a few run-ins with the terrifying. But tonight I'm playing Rene Morel. He's a French expatriate. He's a jazz musician. He's obsessed with foreign culture, and he's here on a tour of the American jazz scene in the 1920s.
And he's traveling with Sawyer's character, Silas Merriweather.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So,
Riding the rails, I presume.
Yeah.
Trying our best.
Final introductions to someone who anybody who follows Mystery Program knows and loves, our keeper, Luke Stram.
Thanks, Kat.
Let's talk about what our cast and viewers need to know about how this game is played. Just the not the nuance of it, not the particularities of it, but just the surface level stuff. I mean, I assume if anybody's tuning in because they're a fan of our audio dramas, maybe they've never particularly followed the numbers too much and are concerned about this. I don't think you have anything to be concerned about. Luke, what do they need to know?
Call of Cthulhu is an investigative RPG where these players are going to shepherd their characters through some kind of an investigation. Most of their character components, the statistics, the meat of their characters, how strong they are, how smart they are, how well educated they are, how quick they are, as well as their skills, what they know, how good of a dancer they are, how good they are in a fist fight, how knowledgeable they are about architecture. Those sort of things are all controlled with percentiles. So they've got a percentage in a skill or a stat, and they're basically rolling against it.
90 is world class, and anything else isn't.
Yeah. So the higher their percentage is, the better they are at it. Basically, they're trying to roll equal or underneath it. But we'll see most of this as it goes along. In addition to that, they also have their luck, which they can use to kind of push the odds in their favor in a couple of different ways. One where they can spend their luck. They can kind of burn it to permanently lose that luck and give themselves a little boost. They can also push their luck, pushing their rolls and risking a bigger threat in exchange for another reroll, a chance at success.
So, for example, like I screw up something really bad and it's life or death, and I really, really need to succeed because otherwise it's game over. Obviously, I'm going to cash in some luck. But then if I do that and I still fail, that's very bad.
Yep. In addition, as a side effect of the charity stream, some of our generous donors will be tugging at the strings of fate, so to speak, pushing things in their advantage in some cases that may help bail the characters out. Unfortunately for them, the first of our donors, Hillary, has actually given a bonus dice to me. So we'll see what happens there.
We'll get into to how that works in just a moment, because all that's tied to the other component of tonight's game, which is that, we're here to have a terrifying adventure, but we are also here for a good cause. We're raising money for the Transgender Law Center. It's maybe no surprise to you that transgender people experience disproportionate violence, discrimination, and poverty. So fortunately, there's organizations like the Transgender Law Center that work to fight and build a better world so that all people can live safely, authentically, and free from discrimination, regardless of their gender identity or expression. The systems that create social, legal, and political violence against trans folks are deeply interlocked, so the work that TLC does is really varied. They help folks on an individual level and also work to change systemic prejudices with laws, long-term programs, and support of grassroots movements. Their work is grounded in legal expertise and committed to racial justice to keep transgender and gender nonconforming people alive, thriving, and fighting for liberation. What they do is really expansive, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that later, but I encourage everybody to look them up. They're an incredible resource. Here's how it's going down tonight. We're working towards a goal of raising $2,500 for TLC. Along the way, there's a number of milestones we want to hit. And each of these milestones are steps in a ritual, because what we're doing here tonight is a conscious act. Our donations to TLC have the power to change lives. And that's a tremendous thing that we should not underestimate. It might just be money out of your wallet through the internet to an organization, but it is bigger than that. So I invite you all to walk this cycle with us, to take this journey with us, and combine powers with us to make something beautiful happen, enacting positive change on the world. And hey, you may say, well, charity rituals are all well and good, but what's in it for me? I'm glad you asked, my mercantile friend. We have incentives, and they alter the outcome of the game, as Luke said. Donors who give $50 can give the character of their choosing a bonus die on their next die roll. At $100, thanks to your benevolence, a character's sanity loss will be halved. Because one of the key components of this game is you'll see things that may break you down psychologically, and that means that things get a little erratic, things get a little crazy. People have phobias and manias that'll kind of get emphasized and heightened. So having that sanity loss halved could be a big win for somebody. And you get to decide who that is before you know what happens, though, because, we have to process all this information. At $150, a player of your choice recovers 1d6 health immediately after taking damage. And at $250, you can save a player from certain death, which is it's quite the thing. No one's going to know that they have an angel looking out for them until it happens. So if it's happened at all, it's anybody's guess. There is one final thing. For those of you who like to play with unknowable reality-rending forces beyond your control, if someone donates $2,500 outright, an old one will appear and encounter our players in the game. That is a creature from beyond time and space, an entity which we cannot comprehend. That is oftentimes an extremely bad thing, but we'll see.
Or
Anything
a good
is
thing
possible.
if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Careless
want,
Whisper starts playing in the background.
if you want to shatter reality, this could be your jam.
Never have I wanted to meet an old one more. Someone make this happen.
So we actually have quite a few donations before we even kicked off the stream tonight, starting us at, looks like, if I'm reading this correctly, $360.
Excellent.
Which is buck wild. Thank you so much. So that means that the circle has already been cast. We've called upon the winds in the east. Let's keep calling those quarters. I want to give a shout out to everybody.
Existence.
I want to give a shout out to everybody thus so far. Tamara, Hillary, the ever prolific Anonymous, Jamie Lalone, Dudenian, Garrier, and Dizdon. Garrier says the opening howl of this show is still their ringtone and they love it. And Dizdon says, let's raise money for a great cause while having some fun. Hecate, yeah. Then also, the first donor we had, Robert F. Thompson, bless his heart, says, Father Grandfather is dead. Long live Father Grandfather. So there's a special Bible in heaven with your name on it, my friend. Throughout the night, we are going to be doing random giveaways to the chat. So stick with us for the duration because there's a ton of chances to win. And what you're going to win is, well, Chaosium has generously supplied and also supplied physical and digital copies of their newly remastered edition of Mansions of Madness, the book that tonight's scenario is from. It's 224 full-color pages, 5 scenarios, and since all this is improvised mayhem, it is endless horror. So that's quite a value.
What a steal.
Yeah. You can watch the chat for when we kick off for your chance to win, and watch the milestones for when the next prize drop is activated at 666 and 100666. We are giving away 4 copies of Mansions of Madness tonight.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
And tomorrow, Luke, let's paint some happy little nightmares, shall we? The year is 1925.
Excellent. Thank you, Cap. So, young Hazel Martin has been burdened with terrible knowledge from her family inheritance and is racked with unfortunate questions. The journals of her grandfather, along with some strange stories from her childhood, have haunted her entire life. And she has found some solace in recent months attending meetings of the Arkham Paranormal Research Society, which assembles regularly in the library of Miskatonic University in Arkham, Massachusetts. This small academic club of curiosity seekers is a very eclectic and unusual lot, with no thought given to age or creed or race or class. Discussions and debates rage across topics from ancient history and physical sciences to magical practices and metaphysical discussions of alternative cosmologies. As today's meeting has come to a close on this evening, late in February 1925, one of the founding members, a middle-aged antiquities dealer named Charles Pell, who would look like a typical example of white, middle-aged, Anglo-Saxon Protestantism if it weren't for his slightly unkempt hair and his wild eyes, has come to Hazel with an offer. Hello, Miss Martin. I wanted to thank you for gracing us with your presence this evening. True, you don't say much, but your occasional interjections, I think they're well considered. As you may have heard, some of our members occasionally perform freelance investigations, and one of those side jobs has just come up, pertaining to an acquaintance of the society. All of our regulars are kind of spoken for at the moment, so I wanted to offer the gig to you. You seem like a good egg, Miss Martin, and smart as a whip. So it's a paying gig, and I'm sure you can handle it. And I think you'd make an excellent addition to the society's circle of investigators. What do you say?
I mean, I've enjoyed my time coming to the society, and I feel like I've managed to learn a lot, and I'd be more than happy to assist if you're in a bit of a bind.
Yeah, well, the Dodge brothers, the lawyers, you see, they're the ones who were given this job. They were looking for me to look into it, but unfortunately I can't do it myself. I have some business to attend to. I don't want to get into it now, but regardless, I spoke with them on the phone, and they're willing to have someone else go in my stead, somebody I vouch for, and I think you got the right kind of head on your shoulders for this kind of thing. So with it, I'd be happy to send you in my place. All the money's yours, no finder's fee or nothing.
And is there a particular reason why our particular group was chosen to go here particularly?
Well, I don't want to hide it from you, but basically somebody's gone missing. A professor by the name of Arthur Cornthwaite. He's kind of an archaeologist, and he has some knowledge and interest in things that have been tangential to what we do in the society. So occasionally we've corresponded with him in the past, and he's gone missing. His lawyers knew about some of what I did in my spare time, and I guess the police they think he's just run off, but I don't think that's the case. Just something about it doesn't feel right, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think my instincts are pretty good for this kind of thing, and I want somebody to try to find him, because he's kind of a snooty guy, but I think I don't think he deserves whatever, if he's run into something trouble. I think he needs someone to help him out, because the police aren't going to do it.
Everyone deserves a helping hand.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you're probably right about what happened. I've heard his name bandied about the department every now and then, and it kind of doesn't seem like him to just run off. I'd be happy to go check it out for you.
Well, I'd appreciate it. It's down in Gamwell, Massachusetts. You make your way down to Boston up the turnpike. It's not that far off, but with it, the Dodge brothers would be expecting you tomorrow. With it, the man, he used to throw some pretty good parties actually, but ever since you see, and part of the reason I think there's more to this, back in 23, he went on like an expedition to I think it was Peru, if I remember correctly, and he had some trouble with it, like real bad trouble with it. He didn't really want to talk about it, but I think he might have even been the only survivor, if I remember correctly. And I don't know. He just ever since then had that feeling of a real haunted kind of guy, and someone dogged by some terrible stuff. And as I'm sure you've heard in some of our meetings, people like that, so sometimes they have secrets that are a little too dangerous. And so if you can look into it, like I said, the money's yours, but I just think there's more to it. Here, hang on. And he reaches down and he gets out his briefcase and opens it up. He says, Miss Martin, I've actually got some documentation they sent here. Here, it's you can look at all the details on it. It's a letter from the Dodge brothers, and it's also they had an attachment. They gave me one of his newspaper clippings about him from a month ago.
Well, I'm sure these will be pretty helpful. I mean, so he's been missing for almost a month. This article says January 17th.
Yeah, apparently so. I guess, it's one of those things where someone goes missing, depending on what's going on. It may be a while till somebody knows, and then, if the police look into it, then that's one thing. We're kind of, if anyone's going to find him, it's going to be you. That's kind of the deal. If the police were going to find him, they would have found him already, right?
Agreed. There's certainly something strange going on here. You can count on me. I'll go meet with the lawyers tomorrow. About what time are they expecting me?
With it, but if you leave tomorrow morning, you'd probably be getting there in the early afternoon. I can have them expecting there, around lunchtime.
That sounds about right.
Excellent. Well, if you want to make your way out there, I really appreciate it. And thank you very much for coming to all these meetings. And, I guess welcome to the Circle of Investigators. The Arkham Paranormal Research Society thanks you.
Anything for my fellow scholars.
And with that, Hazel prepares herself to make her way down to Gamwell, Massachusetts. The next day, we find ourselves down in Gamwell, Massachusetts, in front of the Fitzgerald Manor, the home of Arthur Cornthwaite. And he's located on the outskirts of town. The town itself is a small town, almost the kind of thing that if you didn't know where it was, you wouldn't find it. A single main street, a few stores and buildings, mostly there to support the local farmers and agriculture of the area. But it does have its own share of old money, these older estates that pepper the landscape on the outskirts of Gamwell. And one such estate is the Fitzgerald estate, owned by Arthur Cornthwaite. And what we find there is an old stone fence topped by rusting metal decorations. And at the center, an old gate, wrought iron, chained shut. In front of it is a car parked with 3 men, all in dull gray suits, their hair in various stages of retreat from their foreheads, one of whom has a rather respectable mustache about him. The 3 of them are standing there nervously as a pair of travelers approach them. These travelers, one of whom, with a spring in his step, is carrying little but the clothes on his back and whatever things he happens to have in his small case. In addition, he is joined by an older man carrying an instrument case along with his few worldly possessions. As they approach, one of the 3 men in suits says, "Hello, are either of you Hazel Martin?"
Not that I know of.
No, not me.
You sure?
Well, unless Renee, have you picked up a new alias while I wasn't looking? Were you?
It's not one of mine. No, that's not yet.
No, but it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Silas Merriweather. I extend my hand to him.
Oh, well, the man reaches out, shakes Silas's hand limply, and quickly retreats back to his two brothers, glancing at each of them briefly before continuing. So you're not Hazel Martin, who we're here to meet. But then why are you here?
Well, we're here for the Mardi Gras party. It's a yearly
What?
thing. The Mardi Gras party, sir.
Surely you have one here. I hold up my instrument case, and it's so we're in the business.
The three men in gray suits look at each other. The tallest of the three leans down to the mustachioed one and whispers into his ear. And then the man in the mustache says, "So, neither of you are Hazel Martin. And I'm guessing, do either of you know Hazel Martin?"
Can't say that I do, sir.
Okay.
I'm afraid not, no.
And you're here for a Mardi Gras party. Who's the Cornthwaite party? Arthur Cornthwaite. Is that who you're here for?
Yeah, Mr. Cornthwaite hired us on last year, same as always.
I thought you canceled those orders.
Come
Yes. Okay, so well, how to say this? Well, I have some unfortunate news for you. These I hope you didn't come from very far away, because Mr. Cornthwaite, he is indisposed at the moment.
Well, that's fine. You can just dispose the check that he promised us, and we'll be on our way.
Oh. Well, unfortunately, in order to do that, I would need his signature, and that's gonna be difficult.
No, it's no problem whatsoever. What's it look like?
Oh no, you see, well, I appreciate your inventiveness, Mr. Horn player guy, but
Morel, yes.
Mr. Morel, yes. Well, unfortunately, it needs to be done in his hand, you see. And well, when we find his hand, we would be certain to get you that check. But until such time, I don't know that that's going to be possible.
Excuse me, is he gone, or does his hand often go wandering?
No. His hand and the rest of him, they're probably not dead, and may just be missing.
I don't like that it's probably. I'd like a certainty.
Well, you see, if they were dead, we would be in a position as his lawyers to finalize his estate matters. But unfortunately, as he is in a limbo, kind of a legal limbo as to the state of his aliveness or deadness, I'm afraid we're not really in a position to pay out for party entertainers for a party that unfortunately isn't happening. I'm sorry. We thought we had sent all the letters out, but yes. Well, I apologize.
Well, it does take a long time to get here by our method of travel.
Oh,
perhaps he missed us on the way.
Perhaps. I hope not, because I would assume if Mr. Cornthwaite was going to leave, he would have told us. But okay. That's trouble. Hang on. Do you see the car coming up the road? I think that car might be hopefully that's Martin. You see, we've hired an investigator, someone to find it. Hey, you I think I might know a way that you want to get paid, right?
Yes. Very much.
Well, hey, if you can find him, Mr. Cornthwaite, we will happily see to it that you are paid the full entertainers rates. Obviously, as you were the only two entertainers for the party, that isn't happening. Presumably, there's a lot more entertainer money that you can share between the two of you, as opposed to between 10 of you or however many there are in one of your jazz music situations.
So we're
And
gonna
you
do
are-
your job. We're gonna do your job.
No. My job is to be a lawyer. I don't think you could possibly do that. Not to say you entertainers are uneducated or boorish, but I would never imply that.
Or smelly.
I do quite smelling. Anyways, no, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes. So yeah, if you can find him, I will see to it that he will pay you. Obviously, he's a quite a kind and a generous man. And as the as the lawyer is dissembling in front of the entertainers, a rather majestic-looking Rolls Royce has pulled to a stop, and a well-besuited man, Perseverando Gomez de Castellano, has stepped out to find himself facing a situation of a locked gate, 3 suited men, and a pair of entertainers. Not quite what he was expecting for a Mardi Gras party that was supposed to be happening today.
I'm gonna keep my car door open. I'm gonna kind of prop my arms up on the hood and look up across at him and go, "What's the fucking problem? What's going on?"
Oh, hello. You, are you Martin? Hazel Martin?
Do I look like Hazel Martin?
I suppose they wouldn't know, and that's why they're asking, friend.
They thought we were Hazel Martin, both of us.
Yes. Do you know a Charles Pell? Did he send you here?
No, I'm here for the party.
Party?
Is it starting out here? Because I can get down out here, but I kind of want to go inside.
The lawyer with the mustache stares daggers at the shorter lawyer next to him, and says, "I think there may have been some unfortunate and rather unpleasant mistakes. The party isn't happening this year."
Well, too fucking bad. I'm here already. I traveled all the way from Paris.
So he gets to stay?
Mr. Cornthwaite is missing, and we can't have a party without a host, right? So
That's you?
I mean, we could open these gates. We could have a time.
That's delightful. But no, I don't know that would be a good idea. Well, I suspect we'll be finding Mr. Cornthwaite soon. After all, we've hired a professional who is apparently none of the 3 of you, although the 3 of you are here.
Excuse me, you said you wanted us to investigate? Is that correct?
Yeah. I figure what the more sets of eyes on a problem, the more chances to resolve an issue, right?
Well, we could open this gate to this very expensive, surely festooned with heirlooms house, and look for clues.
And as you approach the gate, you can see that the gate leads into a large, sprawling estate. There's a massive manicured garden within, and even though it's late February, it's been rather unseasonably warm, and the garden itself is looking splendid. I mean, not necessarily well kept, but vibrant and alive, with growth all over it. Further beyond that, you can see off in the distance the Fitzgerald mansion, standing tall and sturdily built, And from your place here in the outside by the road, staring through the gate, the perpendicular lines of the gate frame the house in such a way that you notice it almost looks like the house itself, the mansion, is slightly askew. Either it's a trick of the way the gates are positioned or something of the sort, but the house seems a little bit off. And as you're looking at that, and as the lawyers continue to look increasingly concerned about the situation that they found themselves in, another car begins to approach and slow down.
My car's not as nice as a Rolls Royce.
No, it's not. An old, battered Model T putters to a stop in front, bringing the total cars now to 3. And a young woman steps out.
I'm so sorry that I'm late, Mr. Dodge. I'm so sorry that I'm late. And as she steps out of the car, a pile of books falls out of a big leather satchel. She was trying to maneuver out of the car at the same time that she was getting out of the car. So she steps out and she starts cramming books back into this satchel before slinging it over her shoulder and kind of shuffling up to the gathered persons standing at the top of the driveway. She's a little out of breath by the time she gets there, and you'll notice that she does walk with a little bit of a limp on her left leg. I'm so sorry that I'm late. Which I was told I would be meeting the Dodge brothers. I'm assuming that's the Suits. So I'm here.
We're just here for mood music, don't worry.
Oh, I beg your pardon?
It's a joke, sweetheart. Never mind.
Oh,
Nice to
okay.
meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm Hazel Martin.
We see the resemblance.
What? Yes, I'm a private investigator.
And the three men in gray suits look visibly relieved. Miss Martin. Yes, excellent. So Mr. Pell had glowing things to say about you. He said you were quite a good egg. He was very specific on that, and that you knew your way around an investigation despite your age and your womanly persuasions. With that, we've taken the liberty of acquiring you a pair of assistant investigators. This is Mr. Morel. He is a musician, but don't let that fool you. I suspect he is more than that. And this is
I extend my hand to her and say, Silas Merriweather, at your service, ma'am.
A pleasure.
So yes, Mr. Morel and Mr. Merriweather are quite interested in finding this situation resolved.
Yes. Mr. Pell didn't say anything about additional investigators. Is there? Do I get keys? I'm sorry. This is the first. This is the first time I've actually had to meet up with the lawyers before doing an investigation, which I have definitely done before. Which keys would I need?
Oh, yes. Well, with that, Miss Martin, just to formally introduce myself, I am Walter Dodge. This is my brother Reginald Dodge, and this is my brother Herbert Dodge. Well, we are the executors of Mr. Cornthwaite's estate and his finances and all of that sort of thing. And so with it, I'm sure you've already gotten the breakdown on everything. we've got the keys here. Reginald, hand the young woman the keys. These you'll find the keys to the gate and the keys to the house. Additionally, with that, if you should need any other basic information, I may be able to answer questions about our fine town and our wealthiest denizen, Arthur Cornthwaite.
Well, very wealthy, you saying?
Oh, well, certainly. The kind of man that would own the Fitzgerald estate and throw yearly Mardi Gras parties and then forget to cancel them because he became a recluse. But that's neither here nor there.
And you did say dead or alive. Is that correct? You manage his estate if he's gone as well?
Well, okay. So, with it, we need confirmation if he is dead. The police say he just went away, but obviously, if that were the case, he would have spoken with us. Because he's a very thorough man, prepares his sort of travels and things like that well in advance. He has a lot of experience, as I'm sure you know. Well, some of you, as an archaeologist, travels all over the world. He is very thorough in his travels. He doesn't leave things to chance. He wouldn't just pick up and leave, despite what the sheriff may say.
You have copies of anything from the police's investigation? Was there any paperwork?
Gamwell's a small town, and the sheriff is a little distracted. He doesn't think there's really any kind of a case per se. I know he's in the area, so wouldn't surprise me if he stops by at some point. But with it, the thing is, you see, he's a rich man, Mr. Cornthwaite, and well, sometimes rich people can just up and leave, and that's what the sheriff think happened. Despite our better knowledge about how Mr. Cornthwaite operates, the sheriff wouldn't have any of it. So, if you are able to find some information about Mr. Cornthwaite, Miss Martin, and he kind of leans closely and kind of shields his hand with his mouth, specifically trying to make it so that the entertainers aren't able to hear him. Your $100 will be yours if you're able to find any proof. If you're able to do it quickly within the week, there will be a bonus.
Very smooth. Inconspicuous.
That all seems about right. I mean, I guess inside the house is a good place to start as any. I just have one final question, and that's, who is he?
Mr. Richfellow. He, are you friends with Mr. Cornthwaite?
Oh, you can call it that. I come to his parties every year. We get into arguments, and it's all good and fun. I was looking forward to this year. I finally came up with a rebuttal for last year, but that's how it goes sometimes.
So how are you investigating then, or I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Well, I suppose I am now, because these two showed up apparently 10 minutes before I did, and now they're investigators, so I just figured.
Bonafide.
Speaking of which, you two, if he should show up dead, the estate will pay your entertainment fees if you are able to help Miss Martin secure proof. Does that sound agreeable?
Oh yes. We do need to eat.
That is a fact.
I suppose that this will be fine. It'll be fine.
And Miss Martin, with the keys yours, you are welcome to stay in the house as long as need be. No need to incur additional fees. Staying elsewhere, the house is yours for the duration of your investigation. If you should find anything, there's a phone up on the second floor. If you should need anything, feel free to call us. And he hands you a small slip of paper that is a business card for the Dodge law firm with their phone number on it.
Oh, that's your business card?
Oh, all right then. It's not like there's a hotel in this town anyway.
Does that offer to stay here extend to assistant investigators as well?
It's a pretty big house. I mean, I don't know.
I suppose so. But now this goes for the lot of you. This is to find a missing person. Don't damage the house or any sort of thing. Please keep in mind that this house has a very substantial dollar value. And if Mr. Cornthwaite is alive, he wouldn't want it destroyed. So try to keep your investigation reasonable, and if you should need to dig up in the yard or something like that, that's fine. Just try to keep it to a minimum. If he should have passed and you find evidence of his death, well, even then, this house does have a certain value to it, and perhaps there will be a bonus if you're able to keep it in one piece. Otherwise, if any significant damage befalls the house while you're here, we wouldn't have the money to pay you everything, would we?
Don't worry, Mr. Dodge. We're not going to scratch up the drapes.
Rest assured, Mr. Cheap Suit Lawyer, I'm an architect, so I know what I'm doing.
Well, yes. Well, thank you, Miss Martin. Mr. Gomez, was it? Yes. If you're able to find Arthur Cornthwaite, let us know as soon as you can. Either drive back to us in town or give us a call, and we will see that everything is dealt with as quickly as possible. Now, in the meantime, I suppose we will take our leave, and you're welcome to explore the grounds, look for clues or whatever it is that people of your persuasion do.
I think we can take it from here.
And he smiles nervously and looks to his brothers, and they kind of back away from the lot of you and proceed to make their way to their car.
Now, Silas, the sheriff of this town seems worthless.
Yeah, as par for the course.
But these gentlemen could have walked in that house, but they chose not to. Why?
Something I've been wondering.
They did seem awfully nervous.
Yeah. Well, from the look of it, the professor really let this place go to shit.
That is one way to put it.
Did you know him to have large dogs? Perhaps they were scared of that?
You don't recall him owning any kind of dogs or animals of any type, really?
No, he was not a dog person.
Perhaps some superstition.
If you subscribe to that kind of thing, maybe.
Scared of a little ghosty? Ooh, and I kind of waggle my fingers in Renee's face.
Well, guess we should head inside then. There's nothing much more to be learned out here. Let's go see what the inside looks like. See if there's any kind of struggle, or maybe he left a journal behind or something that police missed.
The way.
Very well.
Yeah, so I head up, unlock the gate. Probably need some assistance pushing it open if it is a heavy gate.
Yeah, with that, you unlock the chain and loosen it from the gate, and the four of you push the gate open to the grounds of the Fitzgerald property, and it sprawls out before you, the massive decorated garden, the the fountain at the center of the driveway, and then beyond that, the mansion itself. All around you, the growth of this garden. It as you step into the driveway itself, the garden itself, it's definitely thriving in this climate. And some of the plants that are growing here look a little strange and unusual for this kind of a place.
I wasn't aware that Professor Cornthwaite was such a botanist.
Do they look tropical? What do they look like?
Well, a lot of you, you can make a science, botany, or biology roll if you have that. Otherwise, you can roll natural world, the skill.
Worth a shot.
Oh boy.
There's always a
Absolutely
chance.
not.
Okay.
Not even a little bit. Not even close.
Drop my dice.
It's just sticks with leaves.
Okay, everybody failed?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, Renee, the fates have shined upon you, and you have a bonus die that you can use if you want to.
Ooh,
You can hang on to it for later. That's fine.
I think maybe something more useful.
Okay. So, looking around at these plants, in your various professions, none of you really spend a lot of time looking at horticulture magazines or anything like that. They're definitely out of place, but you're not really sure of the details of it. In as much as these don't look like New Englander plants, the kind of thing you'd see typically planted here in gardens. But yeah, you're not sure where they may have come from. With that, are you going to head to the house? You're going to explore the garden itself?
I'd like to go inside the house and get everything, situated right away. I would take a cursory glance through the garden as we're walking up, but I'm on a mission.
Maybe he got lost in the garden. He was out here gardening in the middle of winter.
I desperately hope that someone would have checked the garden.
Does it look like there's been any groundskeepers or any sort of staff around the house, or does it look completely abandoned?
Well, looking around the ornamental garden, first of all, this whole area, there's stone benches and planters and the fountain itself, trees of various varieties like willows and cherry plums, and the whole place just has an untended look to it. Not to the point where things are so overgrown that everything's unidentifiable, but definitely like it has not been well tended since maybe sometime last fall.
Well, he was a recluse, this man?
From what I understand, that was a recent-ish development. I mean, were you all at... I briefly caught that you were here for the Mardi Gras party that he usually throws every year. So if you were at the Mardi Gras party last year, then you've actually been here more recently than I have. I was not personally acquainted with Arthur Cornthwaite.
Percy, on that topic, the Mardi Gras party last year was really a downer. Arthur Cornthwaite himself wasn't even seen for most of the party and was reclusive and quiet the rest of the time. The partygoers themselves basically took it upon themselves to keep things going and keep things lively. But the years before, everything had always been quite a bit more engaging. And ever since the last year, it was a total turn. Arthur Cornthwaite in previous years had always been quite a congenial host.
Well, last year, I remember that he was a little bit down, but the years prior, no, he was very sociable, very personable, very involved. But last year, I only saw him for our little argument or whatever discussion, technically. But no, it was odd.
Sounds alarming.
Well, maybe there's some clue. I mean, as far as we know, the sheriff just couldn't be bothered. Maybe we find his body out here. It could just be lying on the floor.
It's possible, I suppose, that could be a thing that we find.
If we find his hand,
personally,
we
I'm
sign
hoping
the
to
check.
find.
How it
Personally,
works.
I'm hoping to find a journal or something that could possibly give us some more clues about what could have happened. So inside then?
Yes, please. It's cold as hell.
Let's go.
All right.
Okay, as you make your way towards the house, past the old fountain in the middle of the driveway, the house itself is silent. It's shuttered and brooding, standing over the lot of you. It's cobwebbed with ivy, and from a distance was somewhat masked by trees. The entire place is large and well constructed. High ceilings and thick, substantial windows, walls, and doors. The entire place feels like a monument of architecture. Percy, in particular, is impressed at the stout construction of this place. Although perhaps some of Mr. Cornthwaite's decorative decisions since restoring the place a while back were perhaps a bit questionable. But even then, since that time, and since he was here last year, the places seemed to fall in a little bit further into disrepair than anything he had seen before. Before was merely questionable design decisions and decorations. Now there's a sense of the house begun to fall fallow, and with it, from the outside, the house has a strange look to it, almost like it's slightly skewed. But as you approach, you can see that the foundations seem solid enough, and the house seems strong and sturdy otherwise. The 2 stories standing up. The doors in the front are made of carved oak with a fine brass knocker, cold to the touch. As you step up onto the front porch, you can't hear any noise coming from within the house. All you can hear is the breeze rustling through the trees of the garden and blowing against the side of the mansion itself.
And there's no smoke coming from the chimney?
No, there's not.
No lights.
No. Actually, all of the windows, they seem to currently be shuttered.
Well, no time like the present. And I walk up to the door and grab what I can only assume is a giant demon-looking knocker, and slam it against it a few times, just to make sure.
And with a banging rattle, the knocker clacks against the door several times. You can hear the sound echoing inside. And other than that, it's only greeted by silence.
I push on the door.
Okay.
Hello?
After unlocking the door, it actually doesn't initially push open. It requires more of a shove before giving way suddenly and creaking. It's almost as if the entire door jamb itself is slightly misaligned. And as you swing that door open and look inside, the interior of the place is shadowed in darkness. And there's no sound answering, no voice replies. And looking around inside of the place, you can all quickly see that this, from what you can see of the light shining in through the front door, would be a fairly nice place in better days. This mansion has, well, that sense of fallowness to it, of being left untended, is even worse inside. There are signs of moisture damage here and there, pooled in the corners. Not active puddles of liquid or anything like that, but just signs that there are perhaps leaks, maybe in the roof. And they run across the walls, the floors. The entire place just has a sense of decay and loss to it.
Those lawyers were full of shit. This place is already racking up so much money on repairs. Look at this, and I'm gonna try to open and close the front door.
Yeah, the front door, it for parts of the swing, it's perfectly fine, and then it suddenly just hits the floor, and then you've got to push it the rest of the way.
Hazel drags out a big metal flashlight out of her leather bag and switches it on to try and bring a little more light into the room before stepping in.
Okay, and as you do, let me pull up a quick map here of the interior of the first floor, just to give you a sense of the area that you guys can see around you. And the door at the bottom is the front door that you're swinging in. And this opens up into a foyer area that then kind of opens into a larger central hallway with a set of stairs leading up to the second floor. And as you make your way in, you can see this large central area is leading to the left with a hallway. There's another hallway off to the right, and another hallway towards the rear that seems to lead towards the back door of the house. This hallway, as you make your way into it, you all can hear a strange sound of almost slurping for a moment, and then a chunk of wet plaster falls off of the second story ceiling, landing all the way into the hallway of the first floor down here in front of the lot of you.
Disgusting.
Oh. Jesus Christ.
That's, this place doesn't necessarily feel very structurally sound for, something we're insultingly supposed to be not harming.
Yeah, it should be condemned.
Well, as you're looking at it, Gomez, the house itself, the damage is mostly superficial. It doesn't seem to be severe structural damage, at least as of yet. The plaster's seen better days. You can see a couple of cracks in the walls here and there. There's a little bit of sign of some light mildew and some kind of staining from water damage, but it's nothing extremely severe, nothing that couldn't be cleaned up, papered over, and sanded down and replaced.
For now.
Indeed. So, as you stand in the hallway with the light of Hazel Martin's flashlight piercing through the darkness in all directions, what's next?
Well, do any of you gentlemen know where the study might be?
It's a great question. We were generally relegated to the ballroom area, which...
I know where one guest bedroom is, but that's it.
Oh, you dog.
Certainly.
I get sleepy.
Yeah, with that, the first floor is mostly where his entertaining is done. There's a parlor on the east side of the home, where he tended to do a great deal of his entertaining. In addition to that, there's a dance floor, kind of his general party room, so to speak, which is in the northwest corner of the building. When you walk in, if you were to take a left, it would be on the right, on the left side hallway. So with it, is that where you guys would like to go first?
As good as any.
Do any of you know if there's power that goes to this house, or a fuse box or something?
Yeah, sure. Cornway remodeled the place pretty recently and put in electricity, so
Maybe we should see if that's working and get some lights turned on before we go traipsing around too far.
Okay.
Maybe start a fire. Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Well, with that, you look around and near the entrance hallway, there is a light switch there. With that, it's the plan to switch it on. Who's going for it? Hazel?
Yeah.
Hazel limps over and reaches out and switches the light switch on. The lights above you in the first floor come on for just a moment before sputtering and sparking out, including a nasty spark that leaps out at Hazel's hand from the switch before you're all bathed in darkness again.
Ah, that's wonderful. Maybe we should find some more light sources. I'm assuming that none of you came here with flashlights.
It
Pull
was
out a
well lit the
cigarette
last
lighter.
time we came.
Excellent. Well, let's see if we can find some more flashlights or lanterns or something.
Okay.
Might be some in a basement somewhere or garage. I don't know really the
Or-
layout of this place.
Maybe a kitchen? Do any of you know where the kitchen is?
Oh, unfortunately, the entertainers didn't handle any of that aspect of things last time they were here. That was more handled directly by the household staff.
And the staff, they just disappeared as well. I mean, we haven't heard from any of them as well.
You don't see any sign of them. And along those lines, with it, the lawyers at least didn't offer up any details of them. But I mean, that's always something you're welcome to try to find that phone and give them a call if you want to see if they know anything about it.
When we look around, it's of course dilapidated. Does it look like there's been a struggle or any kind of damage done through a fight of some sort, or is it just like falling apart due to neglect?
Well, it's falling apart worse than it should be for as long as this guy has supposedly been missing. And speaking of which, if Hazel wants to share the letter or the newspaper clipping with the group, she's more than welcome to read it off to them. But with it, it doesn't seem like there's been any kind of like massive fighting in here or anything like that. I mean, there are some cracks in the walls, but it's not like somebody's been thrown into the wall and cracked it. It's more of the kind of cracks you get when an old house settles. But this is just a little more severe than you'd expect. It's not the kind of thing that would render a house structurally unsound. It's just the kind of thing where things shift a little bit, just enough to damage the plaster that is papered over everything.
And you said the plaster was wet when it fell?
The chunk of it that fell, yes. But the bulk of the plaster seems dry for the most part. There are occasional wet patches, but mostly It's just signs that there has been wetness here in the past.
I mean, we could just start throwing open cabinets, looking for lanterns and
That's
that
always
kind of
a
thing.
thought.
All right, let's do it. Let's find some other light sources because one flashlight's not going to do it for all four of us.
You want to split up or?
Always a good idea.
Okay.
There's one flashlight.
Yeah. No.
At least until we find more light sources. I don't know that splitting up is a great idea.
Yeah, I can't rely on my dazzling personality to light up every room. So.
Okay, so
I'm assuming.
So where all do you guys want to head? What direction? You have the.
So we know to the left we have the parlor area.
Yeah, there's the parlor, the ballroom, which is kind of like to the left top. On the right side is the actual kind of sitting parlor itself, where there's music and entertainment and things like that. But those are kind of the two primary rooms, along with the hall where most of the entertaining is done during a party. So other than that, you're not really too familiar with the rest of the layout of this place. But with it, there are a number of doors kind of in all different directions around you. There's an extended hallway off to the right that kind of curves around that you can't see exactly where it goes. So you've got
any door.
Yeah.
Shall we start off to the right then?
Sure.
Yeah, and you can go ahead and check the map of the first floor that I put up.
Mm-hmm.
So you all turn to the right, down the long hallway that curves off into the house.
Mm-hmm.
There is a door on the left from that hallway. There's there's two doors on the right, and then the hallway itself kind of curves around the corner.
Shall we just start with the first one that we come to and see if we can find any more ways to not be in the dark?
Good a plan as any.
I mean, it's just an old house. Why are we being so slow? It's fine. We can just throw open all the doors.
I go to open the first door on our right.
Okay. So making your way down the hallway, you grab the door on your right and try to throw it open, and it doesn't go at first. You actually have to push some muscle behind it to kind of lean on the door before it pops out of the jam and then flies open. Inside is a study. This place is fairly well appointed. There's a roll top desk with a book lying open on it, as well as a number of additional books and materials. There is several maps that are located along the walls, and a large pull-out drawer that contains, from the look of it, probably a number of different maps of various sizes and proportions. The room itself seems to be in a little bit of a better condition than elsewhere that you've seen in the house. There's not as much sign of that wetness or that moisture damage in here.
Immediately forgetting that anyone who is not a book exists, Hazel goes right into the room, right up to the desk, right to the book that is open on the desk to begin poring over this information that's been laid out before her.
Okay. And with that, taking a look at this book, it's titled "The Missing People: The Tribe That the Jungle Swallowed" by Thomas Pratt. And with it seems to be an archaeological tome. Let me go ahead and give you the foreword for it.
The Missing People, The Tribe That the Jungle Swallowed by Thomas Pratt, 1913. In my career, I've sought to push the boundaries of what my profession understands of the ancient world. By broadening our search and incorporating new lines of evidence, we have the potential to reveal untold new secrets that would be otherwise lost to time. It's my intent to make this a case study for my method so that others in the field of archaeology may better understand them. Within this book, I will make the case for an advanced tribe of temple-building people in the Madre de Dios area of the Peruvian Amazon. Their culture is lost to us through direct observation, but as I lay out the evidence for their existence, I will demonstrate that they were a fervently religious people and may have even destroyed themselves in a violent civil war of religious significance. Elements of their work can be found in other architectural discoveries throughout the region, as well as anthropological studies of the pre-Columbian stories of the tribes within the departamento. As you can see, a common theme in this lost tribe is their Great Dome, which recurs within carvings and art recovered by colleagues of several disciplines within the region. Bringing together the many lines of evidence, I have come to suspect that this Great Dome is not merely a cultural motif or fragment of folklore, but an actual place, a great temple. Given its appearance in art beyond the life of the culture itself, I have reason to believe the temple may stand to this day. In my concluding chapters, I will discuss what little we can know of this Great Dome, which may well contain the last tangible evidence of these missing people, their beliefs, and their cultures.
And that's the author's foreword to the book. Flipping through the other pages, it generally seems to be more of the same. And with that, we'll bring ourselves to the intermission.
Here in the real world, there's been quite a bit going on. We have surpassed a number of milestones. We are at $950.69 for translation.
Nice.
Awesome.
Very, very, very nice. Some select comments from the group. Love the show and the cause. Still laughing about Father Grandfather, says Alicia Garcia. Wow, Father Grandfather is a popular fella. Someone has the donor name Colin Peterson is cute, and they are right. Colin Peterson is our director. And
Undeniably.
Jamie Malone has been bringing it and pushing us over a lot of different goals here. They said hashtag Space Jam Beyond when we crashed through the milestone of Sing to the Space Beyond. In this ritual so far, we have called the quarters, we have looked to the underworld, we have looked to the heavens, and now at 950, we have drawn down the moon, one of the most ancient ritual practices of goddess worship. So, next up at $1,150, the priestess will open the door now that powers have been drawn down and the natural world has been recognized. There's lots of people to thank. Shout out to MCS. Shout out to all the anonymouses out there. Gil says, support trans friends. Brian Pittard contributed. Tord Skoog is who we can thank for that 69 cents. I am very
Nice.
a fellow grabber of low-hanging fruit. I appreciate it. Devlik says, as much as I want to aid the forces of chaos, disorder, and madness, Mr. LaForge makes a damn good pulled pork, so 1 dice in his favor. I'm sure he'll use it.
Thank you.
That's where
Thank
you
you,
got
Dan.
that
You're a
bonus
saint.
die.
Love it, Dan.
Jared Pope says, do what thou wilt. And the Mighty Dean has contributed, saying, very strong cause, praise the sun.
Dean!
For an hour and a half in, this is an amazing turnout, and we are pretty dang close to the halfway mark, which would be $1,125. So thank you everyone so far. This is an incredible outpouring of giving to the Trans Law Center. I want to say a few more words about TLC. So I mentioned before that they have a very sweeping presence in regards to what they do for transgender and gender nonconforming people. They have a legal and public policy sort of task force. They secure and defend and provide comprehensive legal protections for trans folks. They engage in advocacy at local, state, and national levels. They pioneer strategies where the policy environment is ripe for change. They provide legal assistance to trans people in need, facilitating attorneys and other legal professionals, as well as raising awareness for critical cases. They produce guides for navigating employment issues, identity documents, healthcare, housing, immigration, and criminal law systems. They offer programs that develop leadership and organizing skills. They link up trans activists with organizations and do what they can to raise awareness, shift public opinion, elevate the voices and experiences of trans people within other progressive movements. They keep themselves highly adaptable because the cases, projects, and community needs shift and develop. It's such a multifaceted cause that they're undertaking. So it's a really incredible organization, and I encourage everybody to go to their website to look up some stories of the different people they've helped, the things they've done. I'm really grateful to all of you for helping us raise this money for them, and excited for what's to come. Now, that said, we have had some winners here with us, such as the user OPE_It's Frosty has won a physical copy of Mansions of Madness. Congratulations. Now we are going to take a little break. I'm going to powder my nose, but don't worry, we will be right back. I'm just going to kick things over to our DJ at WIS to play you something nice.
Something nice indeed, Miss Cat. If you're longtime listeners of the Call of Cthulhu Mystery Program, you're no doubt familiar with one of our favorite musical troops, Walter Sickert and the Army of Broken Toys. They've just put out a new record called War Gospel. It's a fiery battle cry, an anthem of hope, an anthem of love, an anthem of revolution. Because the revolution of love must be fought. In closing, we'd like to play you a song from that record called OPM. But first, before we go, I want to encourage all you folks out there listening to this podcast to consider joining us in this charity ritual to support the Transgender Law Center. With each weekly installment of this audio broadcast, I'll speak the names of those generous souls who've chipped in, and any message they care to impart, as we continue to perform this ritual of giving. What's more, if you like what we do and would like to support our efforts in uncanny audio adventures, head to patreon.com/omniversemedia. There you'll find a wealth of insider info and bonus content, including our behind-the-scenes series Cthulhu Cathomentary, raw actual play of one of our forthcoming series, The Spoils of Innsmouth, and a highly unusual piece of bonus content for the Cracked and Crook'd Manse. You see, in order to assemble this live show, our team at Omniverse played this scenario in advance with a completely different cast. And starting this week, you can hear that radically different playthrough exclusively on Patreon. It stars Mystery Program illustrator Jared Pope as a Catholic priest, sound designer Colin Peterson as a skeptic professor, Brandon Gerson, aka Father Grandfather, as a stuntman, and our showrunner Cat Blackard as a tarot reading acrobat. A most peculiar party banded together to solve this curious Cornthwaite case. Look for this 5-part series released weekly, again at patreon.com/omniversemedia. And now, the latest from Walter Sickert and the Army of Broken Toys. You can find them at Army of Toys across their socials, and you can listen to and purchase their new album, War Gospel, at armyoftoys.bandcamp.com. This is OPM.
Right down on the railroad track.
Thanks for listening to the Call of Cthulhu Mystery Program. This production of the Cracked and Crooked Manse is performed by Keeper Luke Stram, Cat Blackard, Caleb Del Rio, Sawyer Greene, Joshua LaForge, and Dottie Vox, based on a scenario from Mansions of Madness, written by Stuart Boone, Sean DeWolf, Gavin Inglis, Christopher Lackey, and Mark Morrison, published by Chaosium Incorporated. Find the Call of Cthulhu Mystery Program's award-winning audio drama series on your favorite podcast platform or at CthulhuMystery.com. This is an Omniverse production. It's produced by Catherine Blackard, Colin Peterson, and John Sebastian Laval. Colin Peterson is the project lead, director, and live stream producer. Sound was by John Sebastian Laval. The original score is composed and performed by Ryan McQuinn and Mike McQuinn of Neon Dolphin. Home for all your custom music needs and more, neondolphinmusic.com. Special thanks to our Patreon producers, Ben Honk, Nathan Crow, Sean Hutchinson, Zombie Pops, Hoodoo Voodoo, Sean T. Red, Josh King, Patrick Webster, and David Van Pelt. Our executive producers, Big Bad Shadow Man, Jason O'Keefe, Marcus Larson, Aaron Ramsey, and Jamie Lalone. And James Nicola and the Arkham Paranormal Research Society. This program is made possible by the support of listeners like you. Head to patreon.com/omniversemedia to join our community of fans and unlock further secrets. All characters appearing are fictitious, and any resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. This has been the Call of Cthulhu Mystery Program. Good night.
Omniverse.